What's up, guys? What's going on? Just another day in freezing East Montana for me, like 30 something degrees. It's gonna fucking snow tonight. I mean, I thought it was like almost June. It is almost June. This is crazy. Haven't seen the sun in a couple days. Feeling kind of depressed. That's I guess what I'm going to talk about in this video is just like the ups and downs of just being a human and having human emotions, because we can't always be super high, right? There's a balance, you know. And during the awakening, it seems like it's been intensified. I know it's been intensified, and days like today are especially difficult because there's no sunshine. It's just this dark, gloomy day with, the heavy, heavy clouds, and it's just fucking cold. And it's not as bad, I don't think, in the winter, because you kind of expect it. And the winter's for going within and being with yourself and your heaviness and working with the shadow, and it's more of a time of isolation. And spring is a time of, exuberance of life, of abundance of life, of just feeling alive and coming into a new season. And so when you get this kind of weather, it just kind of messes with you a little bit. But it also gives you an opportunity and a chance to feel what's been buried within. And oh my God, I've just been feeling a tremendous amount of dis-ease coming up. Just that angst, that I used to suffer from. I was like in a perpetual existential crisis for the first 28 years of my life. So I know this angst well. But it's just like that gross energy coming up, mixed with like some just heavier thoughts, almost like you get some of those dark thoughts. Like, I know when I was first going through a kundalini awakening, I had severe dark, like a lot of obsessive dark thoughts, like about crazy dark entities, about just fearful situations in general, and just it was really bad, and it's you want to escape it, but you just can't. You just kind of got to go through it and not stop identifying with the thoughts and just kind of let them run out of steam, right? And so I go through that process, but now it's interesting when they kind of resurface. I used to get like suicidal thoughts and impulses when I was first going through the awakening. Like I've talked before, like here's where I thought suicide, if you could get this low, this is where suicide would be. I went like way, way down, like 10 stories below that. So I went to, basically a hell realm for quite a while, and it takes the edge off of life. That's one way of looking at it, but it also is like a really tough place to exist at, and I existed there for many months. Other people will call this, the dark night of the soul, and that's a very fitting name. But then you have like just now going through that, and then coming into a time when those feelings and thoughts and emotions resurface. It's very interesting to look at. I was just meditating earlier today, and I felt like this suicidal impulse, I just want to get the fuck out of this spot. I want to get the fuck out of this body and get the fuck away from these emotions, and developing my tools over the course of this awakening, to lean into that and to don't try to give yourself space, and just go right into it and feel that and see where that's coming from, and see what part of you, is expressing that, and what part of you that you've maybe refused to give love to give understanding to just even like open to. And another good way of looking at it is like, I actually embrace these times and I welcome these times, because I know so much of my heavier, older beliefs and emotions are in fact leaving. They're dying. So I can feel it's an aspect of me that is really upset that I'm letting go of it, that is screaming out the suicidal, the dark thoughts, the get me out of here, because it can sense that my vibration is no longer in resonance with it and it will no longer hold or tolerate it. So those voices are making their one last, and that's the thing. Here's a big thing you want to take from this. It's like that one last push, that one last loud siren of trying to convince you, no, I need to stay. Don't let go of me. I have value. I have service, and so it's like you don't want to be alarmed. You actually, that's probably a good sign if you've been creating the spaciousness to just allow the negativity and the suppressed just older beliefs to come up and out, and you've been feeling a lot better, and the negativity isn't like controlling you as much. You're not being run by your fears and your programming as much, and you're starting to feel better and in your power and in your authenticity, and then boom, you get hit with a storm of just a negative thought storm, or like just a really low time. I mean, it's like a sign that it's the one last surge, the one last, is coming up just to be seen, felt, embraced, open to, and then healed, and then you let go. And so it's actually a really good sign. And I've been going through this for about a year and a half, so it's like, there's parts of this that happen in an everyday experience, but sometimes they're heavier than others, and I've been noticing that my body and my emotions and my energy is really syncing up very fluidly with where I'm at as far as the weather patterns and conditions. So when it is a gloomy, dark, cold day in spring, there's going to be that heaviness felt within. And the thing is it's melancholy and lowness can kind of be a peaceful bliss if we don't resist it. And that's what I'm learning is yes, it's cloudy, but it's not my preference. No, it doesn't feel exuberant and just alive. It feels just kind of sullen and desolate and empty. But if I'll just let go into that emptiness without resistance, you can feel this quiet tranquility, this peacefulness underneath it all, underneath all of the icky, emotional shit that we don't want to feel, quite honestly. But if we just don't resist it, if we don't resist the natural movement of life, things always seem to feel a lot better. They just go a lot smoother, and we just kind of find ourselves doing like today, I just made the most of it. I wasn't able to work outside. I've been doing a lot of work out here, and I've been really enjoying it. But today, just kept me inside, and I got to go deep into some yin yoga, and I got to create these affirmation board things to kind of decorate the studio out here, and I just got to go within, and I just try to embrace it and try to embrace the negative feelings. And I questioned even making a video because it's like, I'm not going to give anyone great energy, but at the same time, I want to show all aspects of myself through this journey of YouTube. I'm starting to find this journey of YouTube is really helping me discover my authenticity and my voice and who I am, and it's helping me heal so many of my parts. I was just talking to my mom about where I was 2 years ago and how I was feeling so much fear inside of me, and how I could never express myself in a real way, and how something like getting on YouTube and talking about really anything would have been just horrifying, to put myself out there in such a real way, to be judged, and just embracing that vulnerability. So I just wanted to hop on and just kind of make a video about those darker days that kind of maybe come up and surprise us. If you've already been through a dark night of the soul and then you just get hit with something, I mean, it's a really good sign. It's a sign of progress, and it's a sign that that you're getting lighter and lighter and more in balance. And that's really all I wanted to say. And oh, the last thing is like, you never go backwards on this path. Like today, if I were to let the mind get involved, it'd be like, why do I feel so disconnected from source? Why am I like disconnected from my spirit? I don't feel so good. Like, what's going on? I mean, am I going backwards? And you have to know that, I've heard this a lot. It's like life experience is like a helix. You keep going through the same patterns, the same paradigms, the same problems or whatever. And because you want to become like a master at that certain paradigm, that certain thing that keeps coming up for you. That's what you chose for this life to work through. So it's going to come up in different iterations. So those feelings you're going to, they come up to be released, and then something from deeper comes up to be released. And that's just from my experience. That's how it's been for me. But we all have our own experience. So feel free to let me know what kind of experience you're having. If you're having like some dark night of the soul type days, just kind of hitting you out of nowhere. If your body and emotions are starting to mirror the weather patterns more, or I mean, if you're doing amazing, that's fantastic too. But I hope you guys have a great night, and namaste.